Now hold up. 1 second.
Yes, sir.
I smell bullshit.
Yep.
All right. Hello and welcome everybody to the Anti-Think Tank. We got episode 2 right now recorded on 9/6/2023. So, we got a few things that we're going to try and get into today, but first and foremost, how are you guys doing today?
I'm dying on the inside.
Yeah, well,
I'm not. I'm feeling good. I got 2 days off of work and I'm just feeling great.
good transition moment right there for the moment in memoriam. Our boy Steve Hartwell, founding lead singer of Smash Mouth, did unfortunately pass away earlier this week. So I'd just like to take a good 5-10 seconds as a moment of silence before moving on. All right. So,
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna do like a whole. Can we get a 5-second count in for "Hey Now You're an All-Star"?
I'm gonna be real. I was half expecting you to like interrupt the seconds of silence with just somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me.
I consider that I figured, like, you know, we're just at the start of it. A man did die, someone who was important to a lot of people, so we may as well just have a little bit of respect for him, and then we can get to the jokes like this shit.
Well, in my opinion, I've always been of the opinion personally that whenever because music is very important to me, very close to me. Whenever a singer passes away, in my personal opinion, I feel like their art is a very important aspect because Hartwell, he's alive whenever someone like plays Shrek. He's alive whenever someone plays like any of their music. I mean, it's truly a way for him to live immortally. Well, I mean, I'll probably listen to him later on today.
Yeah. I'm not meaning that it would be disrespectful to do that. I'm meaning that, like, you know, just take the 5 minutes for the moment of silence. It'll be fine.
You're right. You're right.
So you bring
Anyway,
that up
getting
real
into
quick.
discussion.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on.
I was gonna.
No, go for it.
I was gonna make a joke saying like you mentioned like whenever someone plays this song, he's still alive. But would you not consider that as listening to ghosts?
Well,
No, he's literally alive whenever they play the fucking song. He's in the fucking casket right now. Help! Turn it fucking off! It's dark in here!
Stop, dude, stop. Dude, the podcast. Dude, I feel like Peter Griffin, who starts a conversation like that. I just sat down. Come on, dude.
This is the start of episode 2. Jesus.
Demar, let's move on. Rest in peace to a legend. Made a lot of really great music. Seriously. Let's move on.
Look, you're the ones who were like, oh, he's gonna make the all-star joke in the middle of a moment of silence.
And then
I had to make up for lost time. Yeah, like I needed to make up for lost time.
All right, you're not wrong.
Let's roll. Let's roll with it. Let's go.
All right. So I did send out an article for us all to read and discuss earlier this week. The worst people run for office, or the previous title, something along the lines of like elections are ruining democracy.
Yeah, I read it. That's
article by Dr. Adam Grant. Ian, did you read it?
I unfortunately did not. Could you elaborate?
Fucking failure.
Elaborate a little bit, sir. Please elaborate.
All right.
Listen, I can't even read, and I still read it.
All right.
So, the article is basically going for a push for a policy called sortitions. The concept is that everybody, like from a small pool of people, instead of electing them by vote, we elect them by pulling a name out of a hat.
What?
It's literally the most ridiculous shit I ever heard.
Sounds like some shit out of Ed, Edd and Eddy, dude. What?
Yeah, like, it's been tested in the past, apparently, according to Dr. Grant, that it has shown to have some benefits. I disagree with it personally. I would rather have the input instead of having this faceless bureaucrat like the RNC just saying like, yeah, you know, we don't want Trump, we don't want Vivek, we'll just like put 3 guys we do like into a hat and then go from there. The whole concept to me, he's trying to push it as like this anti-corruption thing, right? Like it it's much more preventative against people who are going to be searching for power, which he calls like the dark triad, people with narcissism, Machiavellianism, and like basically psychopathic traits tend to go towards positions of power.
Okay.
And like that made a little bit of sense. Like you can kind of avoid that because it's been shown in the past that people with those traits are more charismatic, or not necessarily quote unquote better leaders, but people are drawn to them more and more likely to vote for them, and so they're more likely to end up in positions of power. So by doing this lottery, we will eliminate that sort of opportunity for them to get, or at least lessen their ability to get in there.
Okay, so the general basis for it, I don't actually like hate. The idea of weeding out the people who don't actually want the best for us is fine. But the actual execution of it, of just picking names out of a hat, just feels like a birthday party game. It feels stupid.
Well, going back to what you said earlier, Ryan, about, like the RNC can pick 3 of its favorite people. Like, who's to say the RNC is not going to be corrupt and pick
Yeah, it just moves the corruption a little bit up the standing.
Exactly.
Like, currently in our primary system, we at least have the ability to somewhat influence the outcome. Like, if, for instance, we had this system, the RNC could just say, all right, well, we have the options of Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, Mike Pence. Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, you're not a fucking option. You're too populist. Get the fuck out. There's just no opportunity there for a good outcome whenever you add in things like just the RNC being a corrupt piece of shit. It's one of those things that sounds really good in concept when he's like trying to break it down point by point, but he's kind of like missing the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
In that you can get corrupt individuals in an election system, but in the end, it is up to the people to just vote against it. Like, look into it, be smart enough to say, yeah, nah, fuck that.
But it's also, I mean, like, specifically with this country, I don't exactly trust the populace to, like, be intelligent. I don't mean for that to sound, like, rude, but actually I do. Like, this, I really do.
And quote from Ian,
like,
you're all fucking dumb.
You all have the intelligence of a pixie
Just took
stick.
that
like,
back
come
real
on.
fucking quick.
Actually, I do. Like, for the last 70 fucking years.
Y'all have been voting it. I mean, the last 8 years of leadership has been so embarrassing that I just don't really have very much national pride, I guess. So conversations like this are just always end up ending with me being like, we're screwed.
Maybe in like 40 years when the bombs have dropped, we can find some mutant fucking freak. And we can all just get behind him. But for now, I would rather trust a lobotomized monkey than the people you fucking choose.
Who's that?
40 years from now, vote in Bleeble Bobbins for a mayor.
Who's that super mutant from Fallout 3?
You're the one who's the fucking Fallout 3 expert.
Listen, you have to understand.
I just told you, Bleeble Bobbins. All right, I just made up his name.
Well, whoever the fuck his name is, he's the guy that helps you in that one vault that's full of radiation. Let's get him as president.
There's some fucking alien out there right now listening to this transmission named Bleeble Bobbins, just sitting there like, dude, what the fuck? How do they know?
How do they know? Back to Jupiter. We gotta go.
No, before we go, we have to drop it. Kill them all.
They know too much, dude. Oh, okay. I don't know if I want to get into it today, but I definitely want to get into aliens at some point, boys.
All right.
I mean,
Bleeble. Yo, wait, no. Bleeble Bobbins, if you're up there, come on the podcast, dog. We could use a fresh perspective. Come on.
Listen, we'll take Bleeble Bobbins. We'll take Skulu, Badulu. We'll take anyone, all right?
No. Dude,
Skulu.
I hate Skulu. Dude, I can't stand him, dude. I cannot stand him. He literally told me last week that the most recent season of Demon Slayer was peak fiction. Dude, I can't stand that dude.
What the fuck happened to this episode?
Piece of shit.
Look, dude, we were talking about democracy and Steve Howell, and it just kind of off-railed in like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
it really did.
All right, we've put Bleeble on blast. And we need to move away from him. Let's to finish up what you were saying, Ryan. I think it's goofy. A goofy decision.
Yeah, sortitionship. It's been implemented in a few different areas. Like the Dutch have done it to a certain extent. The French have a couple of policies around it. The Irish, the English. The issue that I have for me is that when it comes to actual legitimization, is this leader legitimate? There's like we were talking about before, like a huge opportunity for corruption when it comes to just this faceless bureaucrat just picking whoever the fuck they want. And then secondly, it does not matter how corrupt the guy that gets voted in is. He at least has the, well, I got voted for, so, like, people chose me. Whereas, if you just pull a name out of a hat, that guy is just, like, there's no fallback on that. There's nothing legitimately that put him in power other than just sheer luck. And I know a lot of lucky bastards out there that are the worst fucking leaders I've seen in my entire fucking life. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I've always been of the opinion that there's got to be a better, a more refined way of election in this country, but that ain't it. That simply is not it.
yeah, like, there's one YouTuber out there by the name of, I believe his name's like Mr. Beat, who had like a few amendments he would pass to the Constitution that was actually really, really interesting. One of them was something along the lines of, like, we expand the House of Representatives to, like, 900 or so members. And then he went into detail about it with, like, well, currently, each representative represents, like, 700,000 people on average. And whenever it was first founded, with the current numbers that we have, it was something close to, like, one representative is 30,000 people. And so we need to, like, even it out a little bit more. And I was like, sure, that sounds good. But then I look at proposals like Dr. Grant's that are just completely fucking out there. Like, okay, so if we all just line up and play musical chairs, and whoever the fuck is left gets it. Like, I'm not gonna want to risk, like, going up against the next Hitler with some guy who just lucked out on it.
Listen,
I'm sorry,
Dude, okay, you really think that Sleepy Joe can play musical chairs? He can't remember the rules, Ryan. He can't remember the rules.
No. My issue with that is that Sleepy Joe would be previously seated, and everybody else would have to play around the empty fucking chairs right now. like,
Dude, all right. Were you gonna say something, Justin?
yeah. I'm just gonna say very simply, Dr. Grant, if you're listening right now, listen, you might be a beautiful guy. You may be a very handsome gentleman, very nice individual.
Whoa.
But go fuck yourself.
Okay.
like,
I feel
Like,
it,
I had to
feel it,
soften
dude,
the
for real.
blow before I
It's-
had to be honest. All right.
No, I feel it, man. Like it's just not it's not the way to go.
yeah. Anyway, to transition, I'd like to introduce a new segment onto the podcast here. Historical trivia, everybody! Trivia, everybody! Is everybody happy? Yeah, you're about not to be. So,
Let's go.
Justin,
Uh-oh.
how we're gonna do, Justin, Ian, how we're gonna have to do this is that each of you get a question, and then if you get the answer right, you get a point. By the end of it, whoever has the most points wins, and what you win, we'll decide that on October the 32nd.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
understandable.
Justin. So for your first question, this Roman emperor is credited with the reclamation of lost territory in the east, reclaiming Egypt and the Levant following a 26-year war with the Sassanids. Unfortunately, he would immediately lose it again to an Arab invasion and the rise of Islam. Who is this?
This is where I wish I pay attention in history.
Go on. You got, like... We need a time limit here. Ian, how much time do you think he should have?
Alexa, set a time limit for 15 seconds.
15 seconds, starting now.
You're on the clock, bud.
All right. Caesar?
That's incorrect. The correct answer was Emperor Heraclius. All right,
Alexa, stop.
Ian, here's your question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This document was published on July 4th, 1776. What is it?
Is that would that be the Declaration of Independence?
And that is correct!
Hold the fuck up! Woo,
Yeah, boy! Woo!
How did I get a fucking Roman emperor and he had the fucking U.S. Constitution?
Okay. What,
No, dude, get good. Skill issue.
All right. So we'll
What
move
the
on from this.
fuck?
Okay, Justin, there are more questions, okay? You might get some easy ones, you might get some hard ones. In all honesty, they're pretty obvious. You've probably heard them in class all the time.
All right,
so
let's go.
Here, during the First Crusade, this is for Justin, 3 territories were created by the Crusaders at the end of the war. What are these territories?
I have no fucking clue.
All right. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So the correct answer is the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the County of Tripoli, and the Principality of Antioch.
Come on, Justin, bud.
You didn't fucking know.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Ian, so
Yes, sir.
here's your question. Following the taxes imposed on tea by their British overlords, what is the name of this event held by early revolutionaries in Boston?
You know what?
Okay, I'm gonna think that's the Boston Tea Party.
That is correct. Good job to Ian.
Hey!
Hand of applause for Ian.
Shit, you know what?
No. Here. You know what? Do you want me to swap a question up real quick just to make it a bit more?
Wait,
interesting?
you mean like give Justin like the one you were gonna give me and give me the one you were gonna give Justin?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
go
okay,
for it.
go ahead,
Sure.
go ahead.
All right. So Ian, following the death of the Prophet Muhammad, this man became caliph and united the Arabian Peninsula under Islam. Who is it?
Can I have those 15 seconds?
I believe in you.
Alexa, set a timer for 15 seconds.
15 seconds, starting now.
Okay, I learned about this in school. Would that be Abu Bakr?
That is correct.
All right, let's go.
Now hold up. 1 second.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
smell bullshit.
What you talking about?
So I remember.
You can cut Alexa.
So I remember a very certain.
Oh wait, that's my alarm clock.
Oh. Well, anyway, I remember a very certain section towards the end of the first podcast, or the first episode, where you guys were talking about how you guys were discussing something and I had nothing to know about it.
Bro, that was a dream, dude.
This is it,
We're
isn't
planning
it?
a fucking party for you.
Like, are you... Dude, you're disassociating so hard, bro. You literally had a dream and you wake up and you're like, I smell bullshit. Y'all are trying to mess with me. Bro, like, it's just... I
Moving
do not know
on,
the
we need
answer.
to get through the questions, okay? So here was the question that Ian was
Alright.
going to get. So in the year 1066, this is for Justin, Harold Godwinson was chosen by the Witan to become King of England, sparking a short but brutal war of succession. Who were each of the claimants to the English throne?
Again, I have no fucking clue.
You fucking failure.
Damn it, Justin.
So the answer is obviously Harold Godwinson, William II the Bastard, who would go on to become William the Conqueror, Harold Hardrada,
I had that one.
Edgar Atheling of Wessex, and Svein II of Denmark, though Svein doesn't really matter because he doesn't get involved at all.
I mean, that's freaking common knowledge.
Yeah, pretty much everybody knows that.
Again, this is bullshit.
Ian,
Yes, sir.
here is your question. So, the longest reigning British monarch, she is credited with a stable transition from the British Empire into decolonization. Who is it?
I'm going to go with Queen Elizabeth II.
That is correct.
Thank you, sir.
See? It's easy, isn't it? And
Was that all the questions?
no, we have two more, one for each of you. We'll swap it a little bit. Ian, you'll get the first one. Just to swap things up a little bit. So, in the year 1492, this Italian explorer is credited with the discovery of the Americas by European powers.
Would that be Cristo Colombo?
That is correct.
Thank you, sir.
Full
Thank you.
marks for Ian. Round of applause, everybody.
Let's go. Hey!
Round of applause. Justin, here's your final question. And I did put some personal bias in this one, I'm not gonna lie. So, because I personally just wanted to take a moment to really insult Woodrow Wilson and his entire political legacy. And so I decided to make this question as long and tedious as possible to really drive home the fact that I hate Woodrow Wilson. I mean, I think he's the worst president that we've ever had. He's a stain on American history, and even for the time, he was an exceptionally awful person.
Yeah, I mean.
And since I still have to put this into the context of a question for this bit to work, we'll make it easier. What are two of the most infamous parts of the Woodrow Wilson presidency?
This is terrible. This is fucking god awful. Only because I watched the fucking Mr. Beat video on him, and I can't fucking remember a goddamn thing.
Is that your final answer?
Let's go for it.
All right. Actually, we'll give you 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Ian, go.
Alexa.
Yeah, there we go.
Give my boy Justin here about 15 seconds. Okay, she had no idea what that means. 1, 2, 3.
Was there a tariff involved?
There were not tariffs involved with in the correct answer, no.
You understand how hard it is for me not to go on the internet right now and just fucking look this shit up.
I understand, but that would be cheating, and that would make you a naughty, naughty boy.
Well, I don't know.
All right. So the correct answer is any two of the following. He resegregated the federal government. He introduced the Espionage and Sedition Act. He premiered Birth of a Nation in the White House and is credited with the rise of the new Ku Klux Klan. He was despised by European leaders and is the founder of Wilsonian interventionism. The fact that you couldn't get two of those really shows, Justin. It really shows. But anyway, that's the end of the trivia question. How did you guys like that?
I loved it, dude. I had so much fun.
Shit was fucking rigged.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Boy, you sound like Donald Trump right now, dude. It was rigged.
No, I literally put questions into a hat and just pulled it out.
I like Ryan as the host.
Let's discuss this for a minute, all right? Because I swear to you, I'll even pull the clip right now where Ian fucking spoiled it and said that there was something.
That clip doesn't exist. You're a liar. You're
clip
fake
doesn't
news.
exist.
Anyway, moving on. The National Archive.
Moving on.
Has
All right.
discovered 5,400 emails that Biden has supposedly, allegedly, said in which he uses a fake name to dish government information to Hunter Biden and others while he was vice president. Now, they've pushed forward a lawsuit in order to publicize these emails, but so far they've really drugged their feet of the last year in their publication. Any comments on that? Any discussions?
Okay, just to be clear, the emails were, does anyone know what's in them?
That's kind of what the lawsuit is about. They don't really have the ability to really push for it. Basically, they're dealing with the bureaucracy. They're trying to get them to publicize them completely unedited and make sure that the public knows what's in these emails. We do know that he was using a fake name with the emails. One of three. I believe that the names were something along the lines of... Actually, I can just pull up the article real quick.
So just to be clear, Joe Biden sent emails using a fake name to who?
To his son.
To his son and other... basically, this is his son and others.
He's just up in his bedroom and he's like, Hunter, please bring me some cookies and milk. I can't sleep. Please.
So he used three separate names, Robin Ware, Robert L. Peters, and J.R.B. Ware. The pseudonyms that the 80-year-old president was known to use in the White House during his time as Barack Obama's vice president. Direct quote from the New York Post. And basically this lawsuit is just trying to get these emails out into the public and make sure that everybody knows what's going on.
It's going to be underwhelming. It's just going to be, son, please bring me my back scratcher.
Or what if...
Maybe some old people shit.
What if, surprisingly, it's his speeches? Like, what if we find out that his son was giving out the speeches the whole time and he still couldn't fucking read it?
No. Here's the real conspiracy theory here. They were using, like, Internet Explorer or dial-up, and he was being emailed the speeches in real time. That's why all the long pauses and shit go down. It's just like, fuck.
He's just waiting to receive the next thing to say.
Just staring at the teleprompter as it's slowly loading it up on repeat.
Dude, I'm telling you, we are so close to a Ron Burgundy moment with the Biden presidency. Either you guys seen Anchorman 1?
I have
not, no.
The Will Ferrell, the idea is that the character is a news anchor and he'll say anything you put on the teleprompter. And eventually someone wants him fired, so they just put something really bad on there. So, I mean, we're just really close to that with the Biden presidency. For him to be like, yeah,
dude, that was there was one thing that was, similar to that he actually fucking did. Like... He'd actually said,
what do you mean?
There was, on the teleprompter popped up, something along the lines, I'd have to find the full clip to get it completely accurate, but he was he said out loud, pause for effect.
I've never seen that, because he's reading the sentence, and, he was done reading the sentence, and he just went straight into pause for effect, and he stopped.
If I remember correctly, it was like an important speech too, like something pretty dark and heavy.
That explained the whole teleprompter thing. It explained the one speech he gave where he was trying to recite a passage out of a. My brain fucking died on me, but it was those.
Very on topic, yeah.
Yeah, he was like.
Yeah.
He was like, here within men are created equal, and men and women are. You know the thing.
Yeah.
I was like,
My absolute,
You know the thing.
Like I have like my two favorite Biden quotes have to be America can be summed up in one word. Even Dunstifer.
yeah, I remember that one.
And
Dude, that's amazing.
like and my absolute favorite of all time has to be the fucking quote of like
The road.
no, it's poor kids could be just as happy and just as smart as white kids.
Oh my god, I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, how?
Could we branch off
Oh
real
my
quick into a
God.
whole topic of just his quotes? Hold on, give me a second here.
Oh, he's got some great ones. I know, Justin. I know you're a personal fan of his iconic anime speech on up there with Commander Irwin's speech against the Beast Titan, where Joe was like, "I used to be out by the pool and the kids would come rub my legs." And I'd
Yeah, that's
see
my
the
favorite
hair."
one by far. That's my favorite one. I can recite it almost to the T. All right. It's
Rub
like
my children.
it's like. No, he was like.
I mean, go, get it,
I
get it,
I
get
used
it.
to. His whole thing was like, I used to come down to the pool and I would swim in the pool and the kids would, my hairs would rise up in the water and when I get out they stand up and the kids would rub down my legs, and that's where I learned about roaches.
That's where I learned about roaches.
It's almost I think I may have paraphrased a little bit.
No, not really, not really.
I mean, like, going completely off of memory, it does sound like something he'd say. But anyway.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. But yeah, let's move on. Huge fan of Joe.
Hold on a
one of
second.
the best
I got
best
one.
side characters.
Let's
I got-
transition out a bit before I end up committing suicide by a shot to the back of the head, okay? Like,
No, wait. Let's let Justin cook. Go one more, Justin.
There's at least one more quote I just looked up and I remember this dearly, and the quote is, "You ever been to Caucus? No, you haven't. You lying dog pony." Wait, what?
you
No, you
lying
haven't.
dog-faced pony
It was
soldier.
Pony Soldier.
Lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Yeah, he's like, it was in the middle of like this was one of his supporters just sitting in the fucking crowd, who was just like a young girl at a Democratic primary, just like talking to him as he was on the campaign. She's like, "You ever been there?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've been around a little bit." And he's like, "No, you haven't. You lying dog-faced pony soldier."
Dude, it sounds like a Skylander. Like, what is Joe on?
I mean, at one point he just outright just like, some dude asked a question over these primaries. He just goes, "What do you want, fat?"
Not even fat ass. Just what do you want, fat?
He's not lying.
Oh my god. All right, let's move on. I can literally feel the microchip in my brain start to like melt. let's
They've
move
hit
on.
the fucking kill switch. Speaking of something dying, Volition Games.
Oh yeah, that hit me
Volition
hard.
Games?
They've shuttered their doors following being shut down, basically. The games that they created included Red Faction Guerrilla, The Punisher, the Saints Row series. You know.
Oh, because the most recent Saints Row did really badly, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they tried to make it as, like, fucking modernized and sanitized as possible. They said that they wanted the Saints to be someone you would let into your home, which is,
What?
like, yeah. There was, like, in the opening segment, the reason they were becoming criminals is because of student loans. Like,
Okay, wait, but like, wasn't Saints Row supposed to be like kind of like a GTA, similar to like GTA, but with supernatural stuff?
Yeah, so no, not supernatural.
Saints
So
Row 4 was.
Saints Row 4
the Saints
was-
Row series was like. It kind of peaked at Saints Row 2, but like Saints Row 2 to 4 were just. They would be Grand Theft Auto with much more over the top shit.
Yeah, like
what
the-
it was
That's
really.
what I assumed.
yeah, the very first Saints Row, that was supposed to be like a carbon copy of the GTA. They had no identity, and it was still a decent game. Don't get me wrong, but Saints Row 2 is
Okay.
where you mixed Grand Theft Auto with 80s action movie,
Yeah.
Awesome.
and then Saints Row 3 was take what Saints Row 2 was, and add a dildo bat.
Yeah, like.
Dildo bad.
Yeah,
you
that's
could
an
beat
actual
people to
item.
death with a, you could beat people to death with
That's
like a
wild.
4-foot long dildo sword.
And that's what made them like a real competitor to GTA was that they didn't take them so seriously. Like they knew what they had, they knew what they were, and they just fucking ran with it. But Saints Row 4 though to me is like where they died off.
Okay, so with the most recent game, I remember the reviews were terrible. People said the writing was bad, it wasn't fun, and I did hear that a lot of people were saying that it just didn't have any of the magic it used to. It was completely like cleaned up, none of the like edge that it used to have, and I don't know why they thought that would work. That'd be like if GTA 5 came out and it was just like you were riding a school bus and you didn't even get to crash the school bus.
I'm not gonna lie,
Funnily
I've been
enough, Saints
seeing...
Row 4 had a level making fun of shit like that. Like,
It really did, yeah.
like you weren't allowed to like go off the road and run over pedestrians because that would be mean and shit, and you'd have to pull back on. And it was just making fun of people sanitizing the gaming industry. And then Saints Row 5 comes around, and it is exactly that fucking level, but the entire game.
But it's like unironic, like they did. Like I don't know how they thought that would work.
I have like on in front of me, I have like the stuff that I want to get through, and under this little segment, by the way, under like the games they created thing to make sure that I knew exactly what they made, I have my B point, which is, and I quote, I'll read it out in full for you guys right now. Ha 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 ha! You fucking losers! Next time, don't make such a shit product. Enjoy unemployment.
Damn.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that, but I mean, at the same time, a lot of these companies are kind of like, they get their loans and they get their money, and they're told to make a sequel, and I don't know, even though it is their fault to make it, it still just sucks that after one terrible flop, they just got their entire company, like, taken off the map.
Don't get me wrong, Volition Games, they did make some classics. Like I said, I really loved Red Faction Guerrilla, I loved the Saints Row series up to, like, from 2 to 4, but when you make a product that bad...
Yeah, I guess so.
That's like if...
That sucks.
That's like if Hershey's came out with the Razor candy bar. Like, you just know what the fuck's gonna happen.
See, I've also heard that the biggest problem with Saints Row, the series, was that the original publisher for the game was THQ.
Yeah.
And
this one was Deep Silver, I believe.
Yeah, Deep Silver picked them up, and I believe Saints Row 4 was going to be just an addition, like a DLC addition to Saints Row 3, which it should have been. Let's be honest here. Like, it's the exact same game engine. But from my understanding is D Silver had a lot of criticism, or they had a lot of demands for the Saints Row remake. And Volition did deliver upon the promises, but I think D Silver is the one that fucked that game up. Because Volition, when they were under THQ, we had Saints Row 2. And we had Saints Row 3, which, in my opinion, were great games.
We'd have to look at like the individual people who were making the games. Like, for instance, if you just look at like BioWare over the years, BioWare, you have great games like Dragon Age 2, the original Mass Effect series, and then you also had Mass Effect Andromeda. Still BioWare, still the same company, but if you look at like the people who are actually working on the projects, they're completely different. Like the people who were really good at making games just went off to form their own companies or do their own thing, and they kind of like just puppeted their corpse in front of an audience, said, "This is the same guy, look everybody, it's the same guy. Don't you love the games that they used to make?" And the whole time it's some group of like 30 Indian people that they pulled out of some fucking scam call center to make a video game.
Damn, okay.
So getting to more positive news, recently I came across a game called Ada History Untold. Ian, I know you're a weeb and you want to say Ada Ada. You can keep it to yourself.
Ada?
No.
Oh god, here we go.
Let me do it again. Go on.
So basically, I'm really big into strategy games personally. Like, it's my favorite genre of game. I was playing Crusader Kings 3 a little bit before we started recording this. I'm a big fan of the Civilization series, and it looks to be an actually really, really good game. I was just basically using this as a transition to just talk about, like, what are the releases that you're most excited for that are heading forward? Because for me, History Untold looks to be the title that I'm going to be most excited for heading out throughout the rest of this year.
Okay, do you want to be like go over a couple that I'm excited for, or just like the really big one?
Whichever one you prefer. I'm not really like looking
all right,
for a specific either.
Two things. One, Justin, when you go back and edit this, I may be like vaguely mentally challenged because around 34 minutes I muted the audio in in Discord, thinking that it wouldn't affect anything, and so that I could wail on my harmonica for a few seconds, thinking, oh, I don't want to interrupt their conversation. Not realizing that it was going to record it to Audacity, so just remember to go back to 34 minutes, and you guys are going to be in the middle of a conversation and just hear. Please make sure to take that out.
Little fuck.
By the way,
I'm so sorry.
By the way, just this whole conversation's going in.
Wait, no.
We're
Remove
sitting
this
in the
and
back, like we're sitting in the background talking about like some bullshit. What the fuck was I thinking? Like with the trivia shit or something? And we're like, no, it's not fucking rigged. I swear it's not rigged. In the background, just playing with fucking Play-Doh. Like.
No. You guys have got to put a helmet. I swear you guys have got to put a helmet on me during this shit. But no, it was during, you guys were talking about Saints Row, and I've just never played any of the games. I was interested, but at the same time,
So, I'm gonna edit all the harmonica except for these few sections, just so I can show like what I have to work with.
Okay, thank you. But anyway, regardless of my vague mental issues, video games. The thing I'm probably most excited about, I've got a couple I'm really hyped for. Obviously, let's just toss it out there. Mortal Kombat 1. Extremely excited. It looks great.
I agree.
You sound fucking ready, dude. Like, it looks great.
It looks so good.
I want it in my hands now.
I do. Like, it just looks amazing. I'll be honest, part of my excitement is just stemming from the fact that the DLC characters are Peacemaker, Homelander, and Omni-Man. Like, that's actually a dream come true.
The way you said it is like a 60-year-old guy looking outside of fucking elementary school. Like, I want it. I want it now.
All right. You know what? Moving on. I can't have any. You guys won't let me have any fun. All right. Mortal Kombat I'm looking forward to. I think the game I'm most excited for is actually it's coming out in December for the Quest 3, and that is Attack on Titan VR, virtual reality, something that I have wanted for basically since 2013.
I used to play the Attack on Titan tribute game like all the fucking time back then, and it was really fun, but I can't imagine the motion sickness of all the shit that's gonna go down.
That's what the company was saying, that it has literally taken years and years of development to get this thing to the point where it's actually playable and won't make you sick. It's still gonna probably make you sick, but dude, like when December comes out, I really can't wait. The idea of being able to decide what buildings you latch onto and like click the buttons to make the grappling hooks go, and just the feeling of like slicing the actual nape, it's gonna be awesome. I don't know if you can turn into it. I don't know if you can turn into a Titan, but the ODM gear is gonna be great.
Don't get me wrong, I never heard of this project because I don't like to look at VR title because I don't have a VR headset and I don't want to like tease myself for hours upon hours. If I could play Blade and Sorcery just fucking once, my life would be complete. But
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know.
I know. It's great. It's awesome.
It's fucking fantastic. I got it. Thanks.
You can bash people's heads in with rocks, and it's great.
Like,
it's awesome.
Like the fantasy of being able to use the ODM gear and like getting vored 24/7 because you're gonna fuck up with the ODM gear does sound like an appealing video game.
Some people are gonna be playing that shit for the wrong reasons.
They're gonna be playing it one-handed.
Jesus.
God, I hope not. Yo, Justin, I mean, you watched the first season of AOT. You're saying you wouldn't be interested in playing the game?
I have no idea what AOT is.
You watched the first season of Attack on Titan. What?
Oh, Attack on Titan.
Everybody knows what Attack on Titan is.
Listen, my brain just shut off there for a fucking second. You guys were going off on some game playing with one hand. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Were you playing the harmonica again?
I was like, what the fuck? Like, who are these guys that are speaking right now?
You walked out. You left us unattended for all of like 3 minutes.
I was like, who are these jackasses? Oh wait,
on my computer.
Oh wait, they're my fucking friends. Hold on.
Who are these? All right, little Timmy, I'm going to go purchase this little item over here. Don't get into any trouble now. Walked out the fucking door and immediately just heard a gun rack.
Anyway, my experience with Attack on Titan is, yes, I watched the first season. I did enjoy it. I also watched the live action 2-part film on Attack on Titan made by Toho, and I thought that was also good.
It's bad.
Oh, you fucking...
Buddy, like, it's literally peak fiction. It's, like, considered to be one of the best TV shows of all time. And you watched the live-action thing?
I watched the first season of the actual anime, and then I watched the 2-part movie.
I mean, season 1 is kind of trash. Not gonna lie.
It's trash by comparison, yeah.
It's trash by yes, it's amazing on its own, but once you get into later and it just becomes so unbelievably well written, season 1 doesn't stack up. I recommend, even if you're not a huge anime fan, definitely try to get back into it.
You also have to understand, like, when I'm not with you guys, I don't watch anime. Like, the only time I ever truly watched anime is when I went to Ryan's house and he showed me a Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Chainsaw Man is amazing.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. That shit was fucking awesome.
And I remember the moment you fell in love with the series with the fucking the testicle demon. The testicle devil went ape shit on his nutsack, man.
No, that's the best. That's the best line. The nut devil.
Did I miss that episode or something?
No, you fucking died laughing. Remember, he just got done beating the shit out of Aki in the fucking in the alleyway, kicking his fucking cock on repeat.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that was that was pretty funny.
Oh, dude, I could like save all of that for a different conversation. That's a lot of talk. But regardless, Justin, even if you're not into anime, even if you don't watch a lot of it, if you just enjoy storytelling and just amazing like character writing and everything, Attack on Titan is ending in like 2 months with the final episode. It's gonna be an hour long. I personally recommend getting caught up. It's absolutely amazing, even if you don't watch anime all that much.
Yeah. There are very few stories that have ever like made me have like a tearjerker moment. And Attack on Titan's had a couple of them.
Yeah, it gets you.
Like, transition, I don't have this on the fucking time slot or anything like that, but just to stay a little bit on topic, the only 2 recently that I've watched that have actually, like, full almost like maybe like, like that type of fucking shit is 2 movies called Your Name, and the other one is A Silent Voice.
Okay, so I literally knew when you said 2 movies, I was like, it's going to be Your Name and A Silent Voice. I knew it on the top of my soul. First of all, the scene at the end of Your Name where, like, he's trying to write down his name and then, like, he just disappears and doesn't get to write the whole thing. I screamed so loudly that my mom thought that I was autistic. Like, I actually went, ah!
No! Fuck! No!
It is so unbelievably sad. I love Your Name. I think it's a perfect movie. But A Silent Voice is probably my 3rd favorite movie of all time, behind The Big Lebowski and I'll go into that later.
A Silent, like, how I compare the 2 movies, Your Name is very much like, in terms of a singular movie, I think it is a better movie than A Silent Voices. But A Silent Voice's themes and the writing in it are much more. You can go back to it much, much more. Like, I can see myself watching A Silent Voice throughout years and years in the future, whereas Your Name, now that I know a couple of the twists throughout it, I'm not going to get nearly as much enjoyment rewatching it as I am A Silent Voice.
Absolutely. I personally love Your Name for a lot of reasons. It looks beautiful. The story is beautiful. It's got a great twists and everything. But with A Silent Voice, like, it was so good. The second I finished it, I wrote an essay about it in college, and I really went deep into it, and it just, the more I watch it, I've probably seen that thing like 8 times. It is absolutely beautiful. The scene at the end where all of the X's fall down, like, it makes me cry every time.
It is, like, to put in perspective, Justin, like, A Silent Voice, the main thing is, like, how bullying affects people. Basically, it's the cycle of it, and just how it affects people. It's primarily a character drama. And it is, without a doubt, one of the most, like, I recommend it to anyone. If you're not into anime, if you're not into anything, if you're just listening to this, you've never heard of A Silent Voice, sit down, take a couple of hours. It's easily the most worthwhile watch I could ever recommend.
You know, it's only 2 hours, and it will actually change your perspective on how you think about your past, your future. It does deal with, like, really heavy themes like suicide and self-hatred. So just know that going in, it's pretty deep.
Yeah, I don't want to get too deep in it and spoil, like, anybody who's potentially listening, or, you know, Justin, who I know has not watched it. So, Get on
man
that,
doesn't have
or I'm
culture.
going to beat you.
We will beat
okay.
you collectively with our weeaboo strength.
So transitioning back to like topic at hand, Justin, are you excited for anything outside of Starfield?
Yeah, go
Honestly, I don't follow a lot of games as I used to. Like back in high school, I used to fucking follow everything that was coming out. And no, I mean the only thing I was excited for was Starfield, and of course I was also excited for the possibility of a Red Dead Redemption remake, which by the way I was fucking cut off from, because Rockstar said, "Nah, here's the same game, fucking ported to the Switch. You're welcome."
They may as well have put it on an Android. They may as well have put it on an iPhone too.
Because like okay,
This is good, Seth, because the next thing that I want to get into is what releases are you the most worried about? Like, which ones do you think are just gonna fucking flop?
well, let me go on with this real quick about Red Dead. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't understand why the whole Red Dead fan base is pissed off at this whole re-release, is because if you played Red Dead 1 and then you played Red Dead 2, Red Dead 2 is a prequel to the first game. And there is so much important shit that happens in the second game that is not mentioned in the first. If any game needed a remake, it'd be Red Dead 1.
I absolutely remake Red Dead 1 and like make some, because you have to have John mention Arthur at least once.
At least once.
Come on.
Just fucking
Come
once.
on, dude. It's his best friend. Man died for him.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Whoa, what?
I gotta tell you that, yeah, he never played
It's
Red
like
Dead.
John Marston just sitting there like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about, man. He just...
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you hadn't played it.
Oh, I haven't played it, but...
Whoa. Disgusting.
Yeah, I got really angry because like me and Justin, we had this conversation before, and he was recommending Red Dead 2 to me, and I had been spoiled by the end of the fucking game because everybody won't shut the fuck up about it, and so I never really like spent the money to get it because I figured I've seen the ending, it's not gonna hit as hard. But he convinced me like, oh sure, it's on PlayStation Game Pass, you should just download and play it. I get home and I'm like excited to download it and play it like the next day when my internet finally fucking picks up, and I go on the PlayStation Store. I'm looking through. It's all coming together. Where the fuck is Red Dead 2?
Oh, man.
Apparently they had taken it off the PlayStation Pass, like the PlayStation Plus, whatever the fuck they want to call it. They had taken it off that like a month prior to this conversation, and I just never knew about it.
Man. That sucks.
And then like I was like, all right, well I can splurge a bit of fucking cash. How much is $60? I'll just wait.
Dude, like, it's worth it. It really is. It's just so good. And not to mention, the spoiler that you know is only one of the 4 endings, and it only comes, like, 75% of the way through the game.
Yeah, like the ending that you know about, there is an epilogue afterwards.
But yeah, Justin, I do agree. Red Dead 1, a true remake, would be pretty incredible.
Because, like, it makes me so infuriated, too, because the Red Dead 1 map is in Red Dead 2. Like,
yeah.
at the very least, what you can do is you can just make a DLC pack. Like, something. Please, just give me something. I'll take my fucking money, okay?
Dude, at the very least, just do it so that Dutch's, like, suicide in Red Dead 1 doesn't look so goofy.
I know.
Justin just leaned back. I will make the sacrifice. If you are a Rockstar executive, I will deep throat you.
I will kill both of my co-hosts in the name of Bleeble Bobbins if I can get this game.
Like, I'll never forget. I was at work. Okay, I was at work doing my thing, and then my phone went off, and it was a Twitter notification, and it was Rockstar Games. I'm like, oh shit. Here we go.
Oh,
and I look it up and it said, yeah, Red Dead 1 is coming to the Switch. I'm like, what?
What?
Like, we had months of leaks, like, of a possible Red Dead 1 remake or anything like that. And they're like, yeah, guess what, guys? It's coming to the Switch. Are you guys happy about this? Go fuck yourself.
Dude, oh, yo, Justin, you know who the one was the guy who made the decision to make it on the Switch, right?
Whose?
It was Micah, that no good rat.
Micah!
It was Micah Bell.
Right.
That
So-
disgusting rat.
Listen, either that,
About,
either that, Red Dead 1 remake, or please discussing Supernova or Appalachian Menace, wherever you go by now. Please make Social Lost 3 or 2.
Speaking of
Please, sweet
Rockstar
mother of God.
news, I have to bring this up. News broke earlier today. It's just a rumor. About Grand Theft Auto 6's price tag. Have either of you heard what it's rumored to start out at?
It's over like 150,
not.
isn't it?
$150.
Yeah, $150.
Dude, it's a joke. Okay, guys, it's got to be a
It's
joke. That's like a deluxe edition or something.
I know.
Yeah, I personally, I'm like, that has to be like collector's edition. There's no fucking way they're actually trying to launch a game at half the price of a console.
Yeah, it's not plausible.
Like, I understand. Like, I hate the $70 price tag. I hate the $60 price tag that they fucking pushed on us. But $150? Are you fucking for real?
But again, though, like we said, it could be just rumors because, like, no matter where I go on the internet, I'm always recommended, like, Rockstar news or GTA 6 news and shit like that. And it's always, like, some catchy, eye-grabbing thing where it says, like, oh, you know, people under the age of 18 is not going to be allowed to play GTA 6. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, bullshit. Moving on.
And there's other taglines saying that, like, you know, over 80% of the population is not going to be able to play the game on launch day. Like, what the fuck? But when I saw the $150 price tag, I was thinking, you know what? This might be true.
Yeah, it was just because Rockstar has done such dumb shit recently
I
that I was
know.
just kind of sitting there like, you know, maybe, just fucking maybe, they actually tried to do it. But anyway.
If that's true, then this decision makes Blizzard look like gods.
I had, for my personal, like, ones that I'm most worried about coming out is it was going to be, like, with this news of $150 price point, it was going to be GTA 6. Not because I think the game is going to be shit. I actually think, like, Rockstar, anytime they make a new game, it's top of the line every fucking time.
Absolutely.
Anybody who says otherwise is fucking lying to themselves. But my issue is that if it does launch with a $150 price tag, that is going to send a message to a lot of fucking developers, and it's going to ruin gaming.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a bad precedent to set. No, I mean it's probably not. It's probably not true, but if it does end up being at least semi-true, it's going to, like, set a standard in the industry where they're like, oh, well, if they'll buy that, they'll buy this.
Well, it probably isn't
My
going to ruin...
conspiracy theory...
I'm sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
my conspiracy theory is that they let the rumor of $150 leak so they could push, like, oh, it's not going to be $150, guys. It's going to be $80.
Dude, it might be 80. Honestly, I don't see that being too far out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, like...
The rumor is it has $1 billion budget, so...
Damn. But honestly, though, in my opinion, if this is true, if the standard edition of the game is $150, or even if it's $80, I don't think it's going to ruin gaming in general, only because, like, I can see it happening to AAA titles, because they're all going to start picking up, oh, well, Rockstar did it, we can fucking do it too, but I'm going to expect if that happens, we're going to see a massive rise in the indie scene.
Like,
Sounds good to me.
The indie scene is already the one that's popping up. You have great games like BattleBit Remastered, Deep Rock Galactic.
I would argue that, like, the indie scene is so popular that it has some of the most, like, it has people most excited for some of the best games. I mean, ask, like, 5 random people, and at least 2 of them are going to say their most excited upcoming game is Hollow Knight Silksong.
Like, the indie market has always been really, really interesting to me, and the reason why the indie market is becoming such, like, the proving grounds for gaming is because it's kind of become like AAA developers don't really want to make anything new.
Right.
The corporate heads and such want to stick to what they know works, get the profit margin, and move on. Whereas the indie developers, like, because they need to compete with these AAA developers, they have to be the ones to innovate, they have to be the ones to create. So they have to change things around, fit their story, their mechanics, and make them better than everybody else's, whereas, hell, if you're Ubisoft, why the fuck would you improve on Assassin's Creed or anything like that? Like, you've got the market.
Well, it's not just that they've got the market. It is risky to try a new idea when you already have one that works. So, I mean, it's just depressing. Which, I mean, I guess it sort of makes sense from a business person standpoint, but I also, like, prefer a true separation between business and art, and I know that that's never going to happen as far as like AAA gaming is concerned, but like a lot of these franchises had to have a start somewhere, so they need to start trying new ideas.
Yeah, like I don't think that a lot of business heads really understand the gaming industry.
No.
Just in the fact that even like if you look at like Reggie from Nintendo, he's a guy who made his he became CEO because of his background in gaming, and Nintendo under Reggie, at least Nintendo America, was at its peak. Like it was doing good.
Yeah, I mean we all liked Reggie.
Yeah. And you look at people who are over like Xbox who likely got their start. I'm not an expert in the guy who's over Xbox or anything, so this could just be completely off fucking base. But like it's likely that he got his start just in the corporate side of things, came in, and now Xbox, like, all the titles that they're pushing and everything don't excite anybody because there's nothing new or good enough to separate them from the competition. And it's really angering. It pisses me off a little bit because you had, when I was like a kid, 10 to fucking 13, around that era, AAA developers, whenever they were making a new game, you got excited because they were the ones pushing shit. The indies were copying them most of the time.
Yeah, but now they keep doing the same thing, and the indies have to come up with their own ideas.
Yeah.
Which, not the worst thing in the world.
Ironically enough, one of my most exciting thing is a AAA title, though. It is Dragon's
Spider-Man
Dogma
2?
No, Dragon's
Oh,
Dogma 2. Have either of you ever played the original Dragon's Dogma?
No idea. No.
I would highly, it is personally my favorite RPG of all time. The combat is incredible. You're able to like, I'm assuming you've seen like Shadow of the Colossus gameplay where you're like climbing on the monsters and shit.
Yeah.
It's like that in an RPG setting with enemies all around the world, instead of just only 13 enemies. There's like 10 different classes that you can pick from. Leveling up gives different stats depending on what class you are at the time. The stats like carry over when you multi-class and such. It's an incredibly interesting game. And Capcom, very recently, well not very recently, about a month, maybe 2 ago, finally did a little bit of some reveals around Dragon's Dogma 2. And it looks really fucking good. Like, it looks like they took basically game number 1, Dragon's Dogma. It got pushed out of the door really quickly because the release of Skyrim was coming up. We need to compete with that, said Capcom, not
gotcha.
realizing that they're rushing a good game. And so when it came out, it was lacking a couple of features here and there. They released the Dark Arisen version, which has a lot more in it. And now we're looking at Dragon's Dogma 2, which is basically Dragon's Dogma 1, what could have been. Where they're adding in the new races, new classes, more spells, everything. And it looks to be really good so far. Every time I look at the gameplay, though, I kind of have to remind myself about, like, Watch Dogs and shit. Like, okay, it's a trailer.
It's just a trailer. Calm down.
Calm down. Yeah,
We don't know.
I know what you mean.
If that gameplay is
I hope
real.
it's good. I hope it's good. Like I said, I never played the first one, but obviously, I'm down for
It
you know,
better be
more
good,
More competition
because
is a good thing.
Like, if it isn't good, you're gonna need to find another third person because I'm gonna be in prison.
Damn.
Someone's gonna have to pay.
Ian, you guess my speed dial?
1 second. Give me like 2 seconds. Hey, yo, Bleeble, where you at? Okay, he says he's interested in doing an episode, but not right now.
I love how he keeps
Alright.
coming back.
Because I mean, he's the best recurring character. But regardless, Ryan, didn't you say you had a lot of points to get through?
Yeah. Next one, Tencent, Riot Games' parent company, recently held a huge sort of conference detailing some of the things that are going to be coming out. In order to get them excited, they did announce that Arcane, from Riot Games, they made a cartoon called Arcane that was absurdly good. Like,
I need to
easily-
watch it. I've heard it's amazing.
It is the best video game adaptation I've seen from anything ever. Which is why I want to get into video game, movie, and TV adaptions, because it seems like recently they've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, the standard really started to go up with Castlevania.
Yeah. The Castlevania anime, people like to put in quotation, but it's basically a fucking anime. It's made by America in like the most anime style they could get.
Yeah.
It's I haven't watched any of the later seasons. I've only watched the first 2, a little bit of 3. But what I did watch, I could see exactly why people were into it. It's relatively short, beautiful animation, great action sequences, amazing characters. Highly recommend it.
For me, it was the plot. Castlevania is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's the show that I spent basically the first 16 years of my life trying to get my parents to realize how good storytelling can be in animation. I'm like, it can tell a story in a way that other mediums simply can't. Not that it's better, but it is different in a great way. And then we started watching Castlevania, and they got into it, and we all three absolutely love the show. It's amazing. The last season is perfect. Ryan, if you ever get a chance, you said you've seen the big thing that happens at the end of season 2.
I've seen up into basically whenever they get into the castle and they have that fight and that one guy gets split in half by the ice coming up in between him as the wizard girl, pretty much bisects him.
Yeah, Sypha. Yeah, you've only got 19, 20 episodes to watch after that. Make some time for it. It has a great ending, a very definitive feeling series finale. And a sequel series, Castlevania Nocturne, that takes place about 100 years or so later, with one of Trevor and Sypha's great-grandchildren is coming out, I believe, in November or October.
Huh, nice. I'll have to check it out.
So, yeah, which once again, it raised the standard. After Castlevania, then people started to actually pay more attention to video game adaptations. And not that there's been a huge wealth of great ones, but we had that and Arcane. What's another one that you can think of?
Most of it, other than that, has been in the movie business. You have the Sonic movie that came out that everybody seems to love. The Super Mario Brothers movie was relatively decent. I'm personally waiting for a Metroid movie.
That'd be kind of dope.
Yes.
I'm not into Sonic or Mario very much, but Metroid is my shit, dude.
Dude, I would say that 5 to 10% of my life is spent Super Metroid speedrunning. I'm not even kidding. I just get home from work and then I will speedrun Super Metroid. I'm trying to get to beating the game in under an hour and 20 minutes. I love it. I love every single game in that franchise. And it would make for a great Castlevania style anime. It would be great. The atmosphere is there. It's got a great main character. The action is already built into the game, so it would make a great adaptation.
Yeah, imagine a movie or a TV series animated based on Metroid Prime.
Oh my god.
The potential is just too much not to talk about,
Yeah.
Going back to the original thing, Tencent, they announced that Arcane is going to get Season 2 released sometime in 2024. And, they didn't tell Riot Games about they were going to make this fucking announcement, by the way. Because it leaked to Western audiences onto Reddit, of all fucking things, of somebody recording this conference in China, showing that it's going to get released in 2024. Ian, I'm not going to go too deep into Arcane because you said you haven't watched it. I don't know, Justin, if you watched it or not.
Never.
I would very much so recommend. Each episode is an hour long. There's 9 episodes total. It is basically watch them 3 episodes at a time because basically every 3 episodes is its own arc and its own movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Other thing that I want to talk about within this is Western versus Eastern animation. Me and Ian are going to be a little bit more versed in this. I know that you've watched a couple of Western cartoons, though, right, Justin, or no?
A lot, actually.
Right.
Justin is a connoisseur of Courage the Cowardly Dog and Edward.
I mean, I know that much. I was talking mainly about like modern animation, like Steven Universe, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Gravity Falls, shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
the only modern
Like,
cartoon I've seen was We Bare Bears. Like that's the most modern.
Oh, so good, so good.
Their flashback sequences in that show are fucking amazing.
They are.
My issue,
Dude, it's so good.
I hated the fucking spinoff, the We Baby Bears spinoff, where I just tried to like push like, oh, people really like those scenes because we use them really sparingly. Let's make a whole show about them.
And
Oh no, dude! Like, I never even really liked the Baby Bears episodes to begin with. Like when I binged through the show, I was kind of just like passively watching those episodes, waiting for them to become adults again.
honestly, though,
I liked the sequences, like the burrito sequence. The burrito sequence is gonna be fucking.
and honestly,
like,
the origin episode, I guess, of Panda was actually pretty sad.
yeah.
Oh, that was good.
That was
yeah,
really
that was good. Yeah, yeah.
But it was kind of emotional. I was like, damn.
Yeah, like they actually, that's one thing I really praise We Bare Bears about is it gives them all three origin stories kind of randomly. Like you have Panda's, Grizz's scene where he is like stuck in the tree and then he grabs onto the fireman's arm and it looks kind of like a burrito wrapping. Like that's just such good writing. It's great.
Yeah, and it hits you out of fucking nowhere too. Like,
Yeah. And
Like,
Iceberg gets a
I
whole
hated-
anime backstory.
I know.
I fucking hated the burrito episode up until that last little fucking minute.
Yeah, I agree.
It was the worst shit I'd ever seen. Like, it was disgusting. It was terrible. And then, like, it just recontextualizes the rest of the episode. And it turns it from, like, a 2 to, like, an 8.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. I could not agree more. I absolutely love We Bare Bears. And if the conversation you said it was on Western versus Eastern animation, like what they excel in, like their strengths and weaknesses.
Strengths, weaknesses, and just, like, what each of them seem to be focusing on. Because Eastern animation, it is, by and large, just they take from the source material that is the manga, and then just translate that into animation onto the screen. Like, recently, you have stuff like Zom 100 getting very popular.
Yeah, it's a good show.
That just, like, pushing the manga into the top sales spot. Whereas Western animation is very much self-contained. You don't really know what's going to happen next. You have shows like The Owl House, Amphibia. Ironically enough, Cartoon Network, the one that's really big on narrative animation, hasn't had much. They did have Unicorn Warriors Eternal, which I still need to watch. Made by Genji Tartakovsky, I think is his name, is the one who made Samurai Jack and all those.
And Primal.
Yeah, he made a new show. It premiered on Adult Swim. I think it's like 10 episodes long, and it's the whole series.
Is Primal that thing that comes on at like 2 a.m. and it's like a caveman?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, gotcha. I do just want to say I haven't personally kept up with narrative based animation in America over the last, I would say, like 7 years. I would say that we have to all agree that Gravity Falls basically started all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty much walked so that some of the other things could run, but it walked really fucking well. Like,
it's amazing.
Season 1 is fairly weak, in my opinion. Like,
Whoa, dude, no, dude.
It's good.
Season
but
1 lays all the breadcrumbs that season 2 needs to grow from.
Sure, but just watching season 1 in isolation without season 2, I could see why somebody wouldn't get interested in it. But when you have the context of season 2, it's about going back to like the Attack on Titan conversation earlier.
Yeah.
That, sure, you watch season 1, you had like a decent time, but then you get the shit that's coming after it, and it makes the original so much better. And Gravity Falls is that show, but for Western audiences, basically.
I agree. Not to mention, season 2 is actually kind of a landmark because when Not What He Seems came out, that was season 2, I believe, the mid-season finale. It was like the first narrative-based episode in Western animation to like start trending on social media, and it got everyone, like old people, young people, middle-aged people, like, wow, this story is like really good, and everyone, including myself and my parents, got caught up with the show by the time the season 2 episode A Tale of Two Stands came out, and then like half of the planet was just binging those last 10 episodes of the show, and it was just a great experience that led to one of the best finales I've ever seen.
I will disagree slightly. I do think that the ending for Stan specifically it kind of made his sacrifice worth a little bit less in order to get the happy ending and such. But Disney, ever since then, has done that in each and every one of their narrative-focused shows. They have like the sad, bittersweet ending, and then it pulls back immediately to give the happy ending because we don't want children to cry. Except for one. And it's only if you really think about it. Have either of you watched Amphibia?
I have
No.
not. I've heard it's pretty good though.
It's decent. I wouldn't recommend it outright to anybody because it's a very specific brand of humor, and the narrative focus is very much on the back foot for 98% of the show. Most of the time, pretty much being stuck in like the episodic shit of just make jokes and move on, and we'll go from there, right? But the finale for it. So do either of you actually like care about spoilers or anything when it comes to the Amphibia, or no?
Nah, I don't give a shit.
I'm good. I don't personally plan on watching it.
Well, the ending of Amphibia, it's very, very interesting because for the first time, Disney actually commits to having... Actually, you know what? Before that, if you or a loved one care about getting spoiled by Amphibia, there'll be a timestamp in front of you, like right now, that will allow you to skip to that point in the video. If you're on Spotify, good luck. Our editor will figure some shit out for you. You'll be fine. But the ending of Amphibia, for the first time, Disney actually commits to the whole "we'll kill off our protagonist" thing. And they have her, the best way I could put it is, "I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark," in the middle of children's TV programming and fade away into dust.
Damn.
Okay.
They backpedal a bit and say some, and like have her like, "At the moment of your death," she's talking to like some god, and the god just goes, "At the moment of your death, I made a copy with your memories and everything else. Functionally, you are Anne Boonchoi." And just think, wait a minute, so this is a clone with the same memories. So this isn't her. She's just dead.
Damn.
I mean, okay. Personally, I think that as far as like neutering the blow of a tense, like sad scene like that, I think that's better than just having Stan just regain his memories. You know, I mean, I think that's a little bit better.
Like when it comes to Stan, like I was saying, I think that it was the final episode, but I think that extending the time a little bit, or like pacing it a bit more, cutting out some of the comedy throughout the 2-episode finale to really like give time for this to set in that Stan is affected by his sacrifice would do well. Like, it would do good for the ending of that story. Don't get me wrong, I still give the finale of Gravity Falls like a 9 out of 10. It's just that one little part that annoys me just ever so slightly.
I've basically had to gaslight myself over the years into not being that annoyed with it, because when I first saw it, it kind of pissed me off, but then after that, the like 10 minutes of wrap-up after that was so good, it doesn't annoy me that much anymore. But yeah, I mean, like 10 minutes more of him remembering everything, it would have done really good.
And, like, it's just the fact that it was like almost instant. Like, we went through 2 scenes of him not fucking remembering, and then he's immediately got it back in full. No fucking repercussions to that.
Yeah, that was just annoying. But hey, I mean, after that, like him and Ford going off to adventure together, and Seuss taking over the Mystery Shack, it was just too good.
It was fantastic, yeah.
And
yeah, like a bad ending to Disney though, Star vs. the Forces of Evil is always going to be my top pick for not Western anime. Steven Universe has the worst ending of anything I've ever fucking seen, bar none. Not just animation, just everything in general.
Wait,
I love that show.
Have you seen Steven Universe Future?
Yes. I'm talking about the original run of Steven Universe. Like, the ending to that changed my mind. The original finale is so bad.
Okay, Steven Universe shot itself in the foot by making its antagonistic force seem so unbelievably, unstoppably, righteously powerful with White Diamond and just the Diamond Empire in general. Like, this wasn't like the Empire in Star Wars. It's like, I can see the Empire being taken down. Steven Universe spent years building up the Diamond Empire as being completely unstoppable. And then like Steven really deadass just gives her the power of friendship, and then the show ends. It is disgustingly bad.
It's like word for word. Justin, I know you probably haven't watched this. Have you watched Steven Universe before?
I have not.
So, for 5 seasons, over 150 episodes, this character is built up to be an unstoppable force. And
one thing. Her crimes include like slavery, brainwashing, racism, just so much terrible shit. Genocide.
She waved her hand and a planet of life forms was deleted from the universe, basically. Like, they were turned into monstrosities because of her corruption, just from, waving her hand. That's the extreme we're talking about.
Like Emperor Palpatine times 8. She's built up as being so disgustingly evil.
Yeah. It comes up to the finale, they're fighting her, she takes control of everybody but the main character and basically his love interest. And, she splits him in two. And the two parts, come back together. There's, a really beautifully animated scene. And the villain says something along the lines of, when are you gonna stop this childish tantrum? And this is how she's defeated word for word. I am a child. What's your excuse? And that shatters her. She's so defeated by those words that the entire galactic empire is canceled.
What the what the fuck?
It's dude. Imagine if
beat by a no you.
Dude, no, she literally got beat by Uno Reverse. Justin, imagine if you got to the end of Red Dead Redemption 2, and then Micah's just beating on Arthur, and Arthur's like, Micah, your hair's ratty and oily, and then Micah says, oh, I guess I've been evil this whole time.
He just jumps off that fucking cliff.
Yeah, and then he just jumps off the cliff. It was terrible.
You're getting through the ending of Metal Gear Solid 4 or some shit, crawling through the microwave, and instead of the brutal combat between Snake and Ocelot with that beautiful chorus in the background, he just goes, "You're fucking old, Ocelot."
Dude,
no, honestly though,
it's gonna be the
back to that Red Dead reference. I think it'd be funnier though if Micah goes, "It's up for you, Black Lung," and he's like, "No, you got black lungs." He's like, "Well, I guess I do."
I guess I do, and then he gets cancer and dies.
That is absurdly accurate to the ending of the original run of Steven Universe. And then they come out with a sequel series, and guess fucking what?
She's back?
This character, she's not just back, but she's a good guy now.
Oh god.
She's like, dude, she's chilling with all of the all of the mutants.
Fucking fine.
Dude, it's like okay, so I don't know. It would be like if you got to the end of Avengers, Infinity War, and Thor was just like, "Hey, Thanos, maybe you don't have to kill half the universe. That would make you kind of an evil great man." And Thanos was like, "You're right," and then takes the gauntlet off.
Let's imagine for a moment Hitler just pulled up in Auschwitz and just went you know what? You Jews are all right.
Stop.
And then Hitler just and then Hitler, they're like, "Oh, this guy's pretty cool." It's like, dude, no.
Yeah, and then a few years later, we're going through and he's just in the background, waving down Anne Frank or some shit.
Oh, whoa, dude.
Well, that's what fucking happened.
I know, no,
you watched the show, Ian, you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
Ian, referencing what you said in the last episode, if there was 30 seconds to cut out of a podcast...
This time it would be Hitler waving down Anne Frank and trying somehow to relate it to Steven Universe.
Well, dude, she got a mental patient, Spinell. She got a fucking mental patient to act like her little sister, and that was waved as a good thing.
Oh no, it's bad. No, I'm not saying that it's so unbelievably terrible. Not
the people who made the show audibly had isn't that gonna be a problem? No, I'm not dealing with it. That's a
really fine.
Thing.
But however, I think that the last shot in Steven Universe Future of Steven driving away is pretty good. It doesn't make the entire show worth it, but it's not terrible.
It's a better ending than Change My Mind for sure. I just hate how Steven Universe Future wasn't used to correct the issues with the original run.
Yeah,
But was instead like its own the isolated story is really good, but I just don't like that instead of wrapping up everything, they instead gave us like teased little tidbits here and there, like the chest being open within Lion's Head and shit like that. Like stuff that I wanted to see that I just never got to, and now we're focused on like the mental health problem instead of what the fuck happened with the story.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a big conversation, maybe for a different day. But I will leave that one off by saying that Steven Universe becomes pretty lackluster around the second half. But we'll always have great moments, like the moment where you realize that Garnet is actually like two separate beings. The moment where Amethyst has to like reconcile with her being born kind of a mistake. The moment where you realize why Pearl hates Steven. There's some great, amazing moments in the first half of that show. And the second half has Lars' redemption arc. That shit slaps.
It's Over, isn't it? Is one of the most beautiful songs in animation in general. It's just a shame
great.
how that it's just a shame how that show ended. Makes the rest of the show feel worse to recommend to people. Just
I agree.
because you know that by sending them down that road, they're gonna get attached to the characters. It's gonna be such a fun ride. But it's like if instead of getting off of like a Six Flags ride, you just did like that up, and then instead of like the down where it goes off the rest of the ride, it's just a fucking cliff.
You and your entire family die.
Yeah, where the fuck's the tracks?
Bro, for real. Like, but hey, like, the conversation about Eastern and Western is so good that I feel like maybe I'll put it on as a part 2 for my conversation next week, because there's definitely more to discuss there about just the different styles of storytelling. One of my personal favorite things, not to talk about it now, but is that Eastern storytelling tends to have a lot more open interpretation with a lot of scenes. Like, some of my favorite scenes in Eastern storytelling are ones where the author doesn't tell you what to think and you just get to come to a conclusion on your own. And Western animation has never really done that. But like I said, conversation for later.
We have like 3 more topics to get through before the end of the episode, so we're just gonna have to quickly speedball these things.
Yeah, let's go.
So first topic. The Asia Games 2023, the League of Legends division, will be played on patch 13.12. I don't think either of you play League of Legends, but I do. I'm involved in the esports scene over there, so I figured I'd take a moment to talk about this. There's 4 big things that are wrong with this. We're coming up on patch 13.19. So this is like 7 patch cycles ago, a few months. South Korea, top 2 region in the world. They've won the majority of world championship titles. They're going to be forced to play through a group stage, while Saudi Arabia, a region with without a Premier League and no players of exceptional note, will get a bye straight into the playoffs, whereas South Korea is seated lower than them. This is due to a supposedly optional play-in. Saudi Arabia participated in it, but it was scheduled while the Korean players were in the regional playoffs, so they didn't attend. And so Saudi Arabia gets to be a higher seed than South Korea just because. This would be as if we were making like an international NBA tournament, like a basketball tournament, and America just got seated below like France or some shit.
Yeah, it does seem kind of wrong.
Yeah, just because like Saudi Arabia just decided to participate while South Korea didn't. Keep in mind, this is a really important tournament to these players. It's compared a lot to the International Olympics, and it's especially important to the Korean players who, if you don't know, Korea has mandatory military service. If you get a gold medal in a tournament like this, you get to skip it entirely. You don't have to take years off of your life to serve in the military. You just get to move on.
Wow.
So
I had no idea.
Yeah. Like, this tournament for the League of Legends professionals is basically their ticket to skipping military service. They want to give their all so they can keep playing the game and keep making millions and millions of dollars without being worried about having to go to the military.
Damn.
Which goes to the final issue that I have with the tournament. It is a single elimination bracket, best of 1 up until the semifinals, which are in a best of 3 format. That means that if you lose one game, you're out. League games are very, very off the fucking wall. Like, anything can happen. The standard length of a playoffs match in League of Legends, by the way, is a best-of-5 scenario. So, for most of the tournament, up until the last 3 series, you have first to 1 point wins. Whereas, standardly, it's first to 3 points. Korea and China use best-of-3s in their regular season games, to put it in perspective, and some of them don't even go over like an hour and a half, because one side just gets stomped in 2 games and it's over. So, every single game, these Korean guys are going to be walking in here, playing on a patch that's multiple months old. They have no idea what's going on. The patch that they chose is incredibly unbalanced, and it's just a shit show.
Yeah, it sounds like it could have used some fine tuning.
Yeah, that's basically the reason that I put it in there, was just to talk a little bit about how the Asia Games 2023, whoever decided it, Ping Ling, whatever the fuck your name is, go fuck yourself. Anyway.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
Now, the last 2 topics were actually topics taken from my 2 co-hosts here. Justin, you're for time slot number 9. You wanted to talk about the Maury show. Would you like to introduce it?
Oh yeah, so essentially I was watching what was it? I was watching TV the other day, and a rerun of Maury happened to pop up, and I've always questioned if what's going on is actually real, and they're actually profiting off of broken relationships, or if it's all staged. Because there's, like, for instance, like, have any of you seen the Maury show?
I've seen bits and pieces, like the "You're Not the Father" highlights and shit.
I've every once in a while in a late night I'll catch like a YouTube compilation of like really outrageous moments, stuff like that.
Like, I know for a fact when it comes to like when Maury introduces the 2 individuals, the mother and the father in question, they'll have like little interview hype packages that they'll show off where the father.
They have the pre-game trash talk.
Yeah, like the trash talk can be like the father's like, I am not the father of this son right here. Looks nothing like me, and like they always yell, and they always yell in a very monotone way, and I'm just like, are these fuckers real, or are they just really bad actors?
There's some people that you gotta just kind of talk like that.
But
like,
it's every episode.
Yeah, but like
Every-
but consistently, no. Justin is right, Run. Like there's that style, it's literally become such a style on the show that like it almost feels like they're trying to they're like the guests are trying to recreate what the last one did.
There's definitely some guy behind the camera. Yell fucking louder, or you're not getting on Maury.
but nothing that brings up
Really make it seem like you don't want that kid.
Like, when we say "You're not the father," I want you to like football spike it into the ground and hit the gritty on your way out. Okay?
But
like,
when we say that you are the father, we want you to chop your balls off and throw them into the crowd, please, sir.
But there's one other like incident during the show.
my favorite ones are when there's one very obvious fucking villain in the story who thinks they're the good guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I love that too. But like, for instance, speaking of that, like, let's say in the instant where so there's one scene where a man, like, he wants to be the father, you know, he really wants to be, but he has a lot of suspicions about his wife because, you know, she's admitted to being around the block while they were together, and like, she'll get in his face and, you know, call him names, call him a fucking dumbass and all that shit. And then when Maury reads the paper and he says, you know, David, you asshole, I don't fucking, you know, you are not the father. And like, she smiles, she puts her hands over her mouth and she runs away. Like,
Are you saying that it feels extremely staged,
yeah,
like almost like a play?
Like, who the fuck would sit there and, you know, exaggerate their, you know, their emotions and call this fucker a liar just to come out that they're the liar and they are running off smiling?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as like reality TV, I guess. You know, like it is, like, it's only reality as far as it's happening live, quote unquote. But I mean, they have like prompts, they have things that they want to say, ideas that they want to get into it. Like, they're basically acting in real time.
Yeah, it's Jersey Shore for old white women. Like,
yeah.
That's the best way I can fucking put it. Because if you've noticed, anytime like the guy comes on, all the women in the crowd fucking boo. No matter how reasonable his position
I
is.
know, like, there's one episode I saw where
Like-
the guy was like, she admitted to me that she was sleeping around with other men while we're together, and that's just kind of fucked up, and I don't think this child's mine. And then, like, he'd be like, let's bring out Mark onto the show. He walks out, they're all booing him. I'm like, his case was pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yo,
like,
it's like, yo, that's ridiculous.
yeah, like the dude's sitting there like, yeah, she murdered my cat, stomped on my dick, she set fire to our fucking bedroom, and shot my mother. I personally just want like a $5 to get the taxi ride away from this whore. And then he walks out in and the woman's like, I fucking did it! I did it! I swear I did! I'd do it again! And he's the one getting fucking booed.
Dude, that's the Maury show. That's the Maury show, like in a nutshell. Dude, clip
But-
it. That was the best part of the whole podcast.
But I'll be honest with you, though. Like, there's only one episode where it actually felt real, and this is an old Maury episode. Like, I want to say it's from the 90s, where the legitimacy of this one father was in question, and like he wanted to know if that was his kid because he was gonna die soon, and he wanted to know the truth, right? And they come to find out, yeah, you're the father. Everybody was cheering, everybody's happy, everybody's hugging and whatnot, and they even followed up that episode later on saying that he passed away.
okay.
So it's like, at what point is it real? And these people
Well,
are
I think
these people are just so out there, and they're so like crazy, and
I think it's a mix of both.
I think
sorry to cut
I
off,
think
but,
you
like,
I think you answered your question for you. You said it was an early like maybe 90s episode. I think maybe it started off real and then eventually people just wanted drama. So he specifically manufactured drama, perhaps something like that.
maybe.
or like they have so many applicants for a fucking season or so, and the story around most of them is just like, yeah, she fucked around, and now I need to know. And then it's just like, we need to find some interesting stories here, and they have like 4 of them out of the 10 episode seasonal run. So they get those 4 and then just grab 6 and just try to make a dramatic story with some fake shit. So you'll have moments like the one guy who wanted to be the father of the kid, who got told that he wasn't, and he just sit there staring at the woman with like piercing dagger hatred, tears running out of his eyes. I'm like, that's fucking real.
Yeah, like I've seen
That guy
that
is
before.
going through some emotional
Yeah.
trauma. And then you have moments that are just like, there's not a fucking way. Like, there's not a way in hell you actually believed that shit. Now, I've seen a couple of times where the introductions get, like, violent. I'm like, yeah, that's probably real. That security guard definitely took a left hook there. And, yeah. But then you have, like, 6 episodes where they're gonna... Jonathan, Elizabeth, how are you? Okay, so... You're a filthy skank, and I want to know whether or not you specifically rammed the Pimby.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but is there a British kind of Maury show?
I have no idea.
I think I've seen highlights of it before where like the guy like rants off. It's like
I want to hear it now because British slang is funny, and having that in a Maury situation.
I think it's true because I saw a clip somewhere where the guy was like, he's like, "We can take your bloody attitude and you take the bloody test results. You are the father, by the way. You take your bloody ass out of here." And the guy takes out the paper and throws it at the fucking host's head.
Oh my
I had to find it somewhere, but it's just funny thing is like, you can take the bloody papers back with you.
Why is he
Take
Irish?
them
Why is
bloody
he Scottish
papers
now?
back with you.
Take your bloody papers back with you, you bastard.
I love how we had 3 different levels of English there. We had true English, we had dialect English, and we had Scottish.
I was going with
It's just-
Scottish.
Yeah, it just went from like, yeah, so how do you doing, to like an old, and then just other Scotland forever.
Shittick donkey. Yo,
Donkey.
I definitely
Tired of you and your big donkey dick. Have you seen that?
Now,
Speaking of
seen
big
that?
donkey dick,
My
Ian's
entire-
topic of the week.
my entire swamp smells like dick.
Ian.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of giant donkey cock,
Oh god. Okay.
your topic of the week was EDP 445
God. Okay.
getting
I
caught for a
What
second
kind of
time.
transition is that?
okay. I I do not need to. I don't need this to be a big thing. I don't even really need you guys to like talk too much about it. I just wanted to bring it to anyone's attention that I can. That EDP 445. Most people who are on YouTube know him to be a disgusting predator. We all know about the cupcake incident. He's a terrible man who went to a house in order to have sex with, I believe it was, what, a 13, 14-year-old?
12.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 12.
Okay, I remember back in elementary school, not elementary school, what the hell am I
What
saying?
the fuck?
Yeah, back in the days where I was one of them.
No, like back in like high school, late high school, me and my friends used to watch his videos, and it was super funny. And like we all imagine, like it was all just jokes, and it just sucks when someone with a really like funny personality like that turns out like he wasn't joking. He's just a piece of shit. And so essentially, what happened was a YouTuber, I believe, caught him, but then the YouTuber was not as bad as him, but was pretty much completely self-motivated. He just wanted to catch him so that he could be the guy who caught like a terrible person. And all of the evidence was not admissible in court because the guy wasn't a police officer. So EDP 445, who has an unbelievable amount of evidence contributing to him being a pedophile and someone who will do this again, has been completely free for 2 years. And I don't want to get into a conversation about the American justice system, but the baseline is that, I mean, that's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense to me how there can be that much evidence, but because of complications like that, he just gets to roam free. Good news is, a couple of weeks ago, another semi-sting operation happened. He once again tried to catch up with a 15-year-old girl in order to have sex with her, and an investigation went, and this time, the guy who did the investigation has put people away before because he has the consent of the police to do this, and I really think that he might end up going to jail for a really long time this time, and I just hope so.
I looked into the story when you put it. It gets better. It's the same guy who caught him the first time, and he showed up in a cupcake costume.
Are you sure about that?
What?
Yeah. He showed up in a cupcake costume.
I mean, the whole like first guy, because the first guy, he himself was a jackass. Like he was the kind of YouTuber that.
It's the same guy.
Let me make sure.
Who caught him the second time.
Let me make sure here. Because like I remember the whole criticism towards him was he only revealed the first video because his channel had just reached monetization, and he was waiting for that to kick in before he posted it.
That is
like
vile.
Gideon caught EDP 445 again. I'll see if we can find the thing. Here is the all current footage. It's in some bullshit fucking TikTok format, but I'll put it in chat for you guys to look at on your own time, but we gotta wrap things up very quickly. But yeah, here, take a look at that.
I got you.
He shows up in the fucking cupcake outfit. I'm guessing as a fucking as a reference to the fact that he tried to get out of it last time by saying that he was just trying to buy some cupcakes.
Yeah, I'm just here trying to buy a cupcake. It's I know.
Okay,
like,
see,
it's,
yeah,
like,
that is him.
There's a lot of memes, and I can't stand the guy who ended up getting him the first time. But no matter what happens, I hope that there's no complications. I hope that he will go to jail, because after 2 years of being publicly shamed, after 2 years of having everyone on the platform of YouTube and people in real life like news outlets calling him out for being a worthless human being, 2 years of shame, he still did it again. I can't stand him, and I hope he ends up going to jail this time.
Did you hear how he tried to get?
He should be buried under the prison.
He should be. But did you hear about how he tried to convince everyone that it wasn't his fault, or it was a misunderstanding?
No, he tried to convince people that he was auditioning for a role of a pedophile in a movie.
Yeah, because he was. Yeah, that's a real thing. Because he tried to fake an email.
Officer.
He tried
the child came on to me. Okay.
No. Why, Ian? And why, Ryan?
I'm sorry. Yeah, what did I do?
Fuck. Anyway, he tried to fake an email.
It sounds like he tried to fucking just go for some off-the-wall shit.
No, it gets better. It gets better.
It
gets better. He made his own fake interview. Like, he tried to make it seem like someone interviewed him. about it, and he was responding to questions from the interviewer. The interviewer was entirely AI.
Dude,
He got Chat GPT to make a fucking interview.
Yeah, like
no, he even like had emails sent to him. He had emails sent to him saying, "All right, well, you seem like you'd be very good to play a pedophile in my movie."
By the way, the email was all him. Like you can see where he cropped out this other email that he had got. He typed some shit over it.
As we know, he is not exactly the smartest fucking man out there. I mean, his best excuse was buying cupcakes. I guess he figured, like, I'm a fat guy. They'll believe that shit.
I guess.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Like I said, I don't need to talk about it too much more because it gives me the creepy crawlies whenever I even think about him because I used to watch his content. So I do not like that man. I really hope that he ends up going to jail this time.
So we're coming up on 2 hours now. We got to get this edited by Friday night. Get it uploaded and such.
It's been a great show, I think.
Great show.
Absolutely.
Great show. Yeah. I've been
So
sitting in
much-
this 90-degree room for the last 2 hours with no air conditioning on, so there's no audio interference. And
I got my audio turned up, and I don't think there were nearly as many awkward pauses this time. I thought the Wi-Fi is good for all three of us, so it's like the conversation was flowing way better than last
Now
time.
that you said that, fucking
I mean,
next
to
week's
be
gonna
fair,
be
the
terrible.
conversation last time, like the last time, it was 10 o'clock at fucking night, and all of us were like wired because you two got off of like a 12-hour shift. I just was sitting there like saying whatever the fuck came to mind. It was weird.
Yeah, this felt way more, I guess you could say, professional, a lot more streamlined.
'Cause
I think this episode's better
This
than
shit was
episode
planned out. That's why.
Yeah. I had time slots. I'm a golden god. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll say like episode 1 felt very scattershot, but it needed to walk so this episode could run.
Anyway. Have a good night, everybody. Be good people.
Oh, real quick. Hold on
Yeah.
a second. We have to announce that Ian's hosting next week.
Yes, sir.
That's your prize for winning the trivia game.
Woo! Yeah, you suck, Justin.
This shit was fucking rigged. You hear me?